We've got some serious mold in this house. And this is actually a renovation. So the house was built, then they ripped everything apart, and this is what they found. And this happens from improper insulation practices and in combination with improper ventilation practices. So out here, this is your soffit. See those holes? That's vented soffit, which means air can be drawn in through those holes, which are right there. That's your eave. That's where your gutter goes. That's at the low point of your roof. And then we go up top all the way to the peak of your roof, and that's your ridge. That's where all the hot air from the attic escapes the house. Goes up through your ceiling into your attic. Hot air rises, goes out the highest point, which is where your ventilation is. So you've got box vents or ridge vent or some sort of a roof ventilation. So down here at the eave again, at your vented soffit, air is going to get pulled in, and that's cooler air than the air at the top. And so it pulls it through, and it's got to be able to pull all the way through your entire attic space until it gets to the top of your attic where it can pull out. So where we went wrong here is we've got that's a 2x10. Thank God they used a 2x10. I've seen 2x6s there instead. So anyway, they did a 2x10, and they probably, see that cavity, which above the 2x10 is a 2x6. So that cavity got jammed with insulation, and it blocked the airflow from there to there. So we couldn't pull the air through. So the hot, moist air from the house hits the ceiling here, goes into the ceiling, and then it has nowhere to go. So you've got hot, trapped, moist air inside your house. You don't want that anywhere in your house. You don't want moist air trapped in your house. You've got to get that moisture out. So basically you need Baffles, which is a product that prevents the insulation from going tight to the bottom of the roof, the bottom of the sheeting. Or you just use, like, if that's a 2x10, you use a 2x8 insulation bat, and that'll give you like an 1.5 inch or a 2-inch gap above the insulation. And then you got to make sure that you don't block the airflow with stuff like that. I think that's what killed them right there, is they just crammed that insulation in that hole and blocked it off. So insulation is really important. Ventilation is really important, in addition to your roofing system, but they all can go hand in hand, as in this situation. And if it's not a good dance, you get really, really bad problems. I've seen entire attic spaces that have black on the ceiling because the moisture is not escaping the way it should. Not to freak you out or be a doomsday prophet, but this does happen, and it is very serious, and it shouldn't be taken for granted. It doesn't happen all the time. This is a minority situation for sure, but don't take it for granted. This could happen to anybody in any house. Tips to prevent this from happening: I would probably suggest reaching out to a roofing company potentially and ask who their most experienced, knowledgeable person is when it comes to ventilation and insulation. And you can get their opinion, kind of like a consultant role, if you're building a house or if you have questions with your house. And somebody like that that's been in the industry a long time and has seen shit like this, they're going to be able to tell you what not to do or how to fix it. That'd be my advice. Stay safe out there. Stay away from the black mold.